Someone, please, for the love of all that is holy, explain to me why American women are competing for the most ridiculous lips. I mean, do they think they're doing us a favor and installing flotation devices in case they run their mouths and sink ships? Asking for some level of hope for the future. And boy, did this post get some feedback. So all the comments were very welcome. Thank you for keeping it kosher. Nobody was rude. And for all that sharing, I say, thank you for sharing. This sentiment's being expressed in many ways throughout this feed, and it goes to show that women feel they're held to an unrealistic standard. But aren't we all a part of the same society? You think men don't have expectations arbitrarily set for them that cause us to have the same emotions? You don't think we see other men with the things that we perceive women or other people in general to desire and feel insufficient? Just 2 days ago, I was riding through the city with a couple of lovely young ladies, and they gawked and giggled when a new Tesla truck drove past. And a conversation ensued where they threw all kinds of scenarios in the air about the superhero they perceived the driver to be. They pondered asking him if they could ride with him for a block at the next light. I pondered pushing them out of my stupid van at 45 miles an hour. I'm not telling you it's correct. Humans can be quite merciless in our execution of life. I mean, there are people with shrapnel in their skin and others whose children are hostages as we speak. Humans can be horrible people. But as individuals, we must make a conscious effort to be aware of what we are capable of and what we have control over and what we are willing to work to change and achieve. And in our effort to move toward our desires, compare our progress only to our former selves. I'm not claiming to be the problem solver for all scenarios, but as I lay here, paralyzed, relatively helpless, stuck in bed until some generous human comes to my aid, and as someone whose circumstances are slightly complicated compared to those whose biggest concern is the thickness of their lips, I'd drive myself insane if I had to achieve what others can achieve or look as good as others desire a man to look. I cannot afford to compare myself to others. It's too expensive, and it costs too much time and energy, and has no return of value. I can only strive to become a better version of myself day to day. And the day after posting this question, I view myself as a slightly better person because I'm slightly more aware of the actual instigator of this phenomenon. Not that I couldn't have imagined what has been said by those who've chimed in on this topic as to the why. For those who didn't see it, I did use the phrase competing with each other when asking what drives women towards the surgeries and magic chapsticks that inflate their lips. But I am certainly more aware of how deeply this issue runs in our hearts and minds. And as I joke about this lipidemic, I hope anyone who is suffering from this complexity knows they're certainly welcome to call me a monkey chaser and make fun of whatever aspect of my life they find humorous, because I'll laugh right along with them. And we rarely give credit to the revolutionaries we know as comedians, those insightful and clever con artists who play the role in society of identifying the things we should be aware of in a way that allow us to see the truth without it hurting our feelings, to become aware of our features and faults and address them appropriately without putting ourselves through a torturous process of self-destruction and esteem mutilation. The first step in solving a problem is being aware we have one. I'm not referring to the plumping in particular. I'm referring to our tendency to envy others, to self-loathe, and to succumb to the pressures of society for us to be something we are not or cannot become. And I hope anyone who sees this gets inspired by the insight offered by all its commentators and becomes a bit more resilient, a bit more aware, and a lot more confident about the person they are, and become motivated to strive only to be the best version of themselves, and less concerned with becoming something they're not. When we try to force ourselves to be someone else, there seems to be this uncanny effort on the part of the universe to work backwards. Or, in other words, instead of us improving how we are perceived, it tends to look funny in the eyes of others. You can find more like this, plus tips towards overcoming adversity and pursuit of a more purposeful life, every third Thursday at 9 Eastern on the Get Busy Living podcast YouTube channel, baby. It's a great day to be alive. Hell yeah.
No, I work for this.